Chief equity strategist and economist John Blank has the results of his most recent CIO survey. He shares them with us now. John, you assemble this 4 times a year. These results are as of late November of 2019. What's the most important thing on the minds of chief investment officers?
Yeah, Terry, the first thing I'll tell you, small and large cap stocks 12 months from now, their call is -5 to 0% returns.
That's interesting.
That is the most important thing to remember is they think the market's fully valued. They don't see a crash, but they do not see much appreciation from here.
Your research turned up one market blind spot, though. What is it?
That's the mid caps between 1 and 5 billion. Small caps are below 1 billion in market capitalization. Large caps are above 5 billion. So the spot between those two has kind of been overlooked. And the market might run 5 to 10% in those stocks if you know where to look.
Since these results are as of late November, is there anything that could happen here in December that might change all this?
No. I don't think anything can change on any of this for at least 6 months. The Fed is definitely pushing, and they don't want to stop this train.
So you actually found an example that illustrates what we're talking about here, and that's the Zacks miscellaneous consumer services industry. What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is this is the blind spot, right? Miscellaneous consumer services. Miscellaneous is the tell, right? I mean, it's just a bunch of grab bag of stuff. And These companies, though, are, they're usually not rolled up into some major company's division structure. So they're not multinational. They're not sexy. They're not interesting. Nobody likes these companies. But they're also not small caps, meaning a lot of small caps are risky. They're interesting, but they don't make any money. These companies make good profits. And if they have a high Zacks rank, that means they're also getting coverage. And the coverage from the analysts is saying these companies are making money in this environment. So this is the spot you want. If you want some analyst coverage, 3 or so analysts on a mid-cap stock saying, look, these are good businesses, and then pay attention to that.
So this is an area where investors can make money on these types of stocks in the new year. Let's take a look at a few of them. There's Cimpress NV, H&R Block. That's a familiar name. And SP Plus Corporation.
Yeah, that's Cimpress. So this is your, if you remember I think it's some type of business card, Vistaprint was their previous name. They're based in the Netherlands, but they have some kind of process of making cheap business cards. Vistaprint had a lot of ads on cable. They changed their name to Cimpress, so you're supposed to be C Impress, CEO Impress.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to get that and be more attractive. That's supposed to set them out. But this is a very attractive business, and they do quite well.
Then H&R Block.
H&R Block,
coming up to tax time here.
1955 established, so this thing is 70 years old.
Yep.
Why is that? Because taxes are more than that, right? I mean, income tax has been around for the 1900 period. So this company does really well. They have a lot of other services they're applying to. They have office networks all across the nation, and probably an undervalued stock.
And just on a side note, it's interesting from an observer standpoint that with all of these software packages out there for the do-it-yourself tax preparer, right, this company really hasn't suffered from that.
No, and if you go into an H&R Block, they have really impressive software packages internally, which they have found that they can then basically educate their local staff on. And so they find out, just like here at Picking Stocks, is that you do need someone to handle the quantitative processes that are in place, whether it's software or the government or the IRS or all of that. And the other thing is they have staffs of attorneys in case you get in trouble.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So you can get, what's called, you pay them a little extra, and if the IRS audits you, they cover you with the attorney's fees and they deal with it.
Interesting. Then finally, SP Plus Corporation. What do they do?
Yeah, that's your parking spot, standard parking.
Oh.
So these are parking garages, effectively. So you build a parking garage where the demand is in some metro area, some suburban park, maybe an airport. I'm sure all those are their models. And they basically sell you parking spots. You say, okay, wow, didn't know that was a business. Yeah, it is, and it does quite well, and they keep building them. And as the gentrification of the urban American cities continues, the flow is back into central business districts, which means the flow is back into their garages.
Very interesting. Well, that's the latest for 2019 with our chief equity strategist and economist, John Blank. As always, with John, I'm Terry Ruffolo. And here's something that you may want to check out before the year runs out on you. For a limited time, you're invited to follow market insights, buys and sells from all of our Zacks recommendation portfolios. And you can do it in real time, and it would only cost you $1 for that privilege. You can even look into services that, up to now, have been exclusive only to subscribers, not new investors. And to do that, get details at zacks.com/promo.
This material is being provided for informational purposes only, and nothing herein constitutes investment, legal, accounting, or tax advice, or a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold a security. Do not act or rely upon the information and advice given in this podcast without seeking the services of competent and professional legal, tax, or accounting counsel. Publication and distribution of this podcast is not intended to create, and the information contained herein does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. No recommendation or advice is being given as to whether any investment or strategy is suitable for a particular investor. It should not be assumed that any investments in securities, companies, sectors, or markets identified and described were or will be profitable.